Kwame Boakye, often go by Kwame B. I'm an independent restaurateur, owner, operator, and marketer. Unfortunately, right now I'm able to be the independent sole owner of 4 restaurants. Chicken Fire, Cow and Cheese, and That Wing Spot. The thing that I'm most proud of is the willpower that I have had or have developed. You know, maybe I always had it innately, or I developed it through all the adversity I've faced. But I've faced so much adversity that I had no idea that there was no way to anticipate the amount of adversity. I never thought it would be easy. Don't get me wrong. It's interesting, what has the impact been of being a black-owned business here in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, since we put it all together. And I'll be honest, at first, it was something that I didn't necessarily want to have the stigma of, because people have a tendency, they can get weird about things like that, or they can put you in a box and say, okay, black-owned businesses, we support them in the month of February, and that's what we do. And then the other month, we kind of forget about them because we did our civic duty, our societal due diligence. We served the community, and then we go away from that. And so, the beginning of things was always meant for me to be a character in the background, and just everyone to be, the business, and the business be its own thing, and people not really think about, who is behind it or face of it.
The chicken is good, but also the vibes, man. You look and you see so many people that have jobs that probably otherwise wouldn't have, and opportunities. And a business is good and growing when you aren't the business. He doesn't have to be here to and just finding good leaders. And I know, like when they opened Cow and Cheese, I was talking about that, and he said it was just difficult just finding good leaders, because anybody can be a manager or supervisor. Leadership is different, and so teaching leadership. I'm just proud of him, man. I can't even tell you how proud I am. Just again, starting from a food truck to one restaurant to multiple locations across the city is amazing.
It's great. I love it that so many people will come and tell me about how they love the leadership team at all of our restaurants. Generally, whenever I hear about someone's experience at one of my restaurants, it's a really positive thing, how they interact with the team, with the staff, or with any of the management team, leadership team. And I love that. But in business, I found that it's really important to work with people that share similar core values. So unfortunately, I found very quickly that the people I was working with didn't share similar core values. And ultimately, that business ended up in flames very quickly, which left me with nothing and a point to start over. Yeah, so if I had to distill it down to one or a couple of things of what made Chicken Fire so successful, really from its infancy and to continue on from there, to me, it was the hospitality. It was soulful hospitality. It was employing that literally from day one. Right? From day one, when I was thrust out front in front of all the highly anticipated people, or people who were highly anticipating trying this for the first time, who had been very, very patiently waiting for hours at that point. It was the fact that before anything else, the food, whatever, making human connection.
And so for him to start from a food truck with one restaurant and one brand to now multiple locations and 3 different brands is pretty cool. Like even from the last time I've been here, last time I was here was just the Wing Spot. Now it's Wing Spot and Chicken Fire. And so to me, it's like a testament to the growth of small business, specifically black business.
And it was a very popular dish back in 2018, 2019. And so I said, I think my take on it is really good, and I would love to deliver it my way. So I would call it soulful hot chicken, because it was hot chicken that would combine passion and purpose, have my flavors, my spin on it, and just really be something that was true to form, but deliver an impact to people. I searched for everything I could to get started, and I remember my research on the food truck community and how to get started in business with food trucks in the restaurant industry, because I didn't want to go back to the tent pop-up thing, because that was really, really far down, and that didn't work out super well, and that takes a lot of a grind. I was like, I want something that can propel me a little bit further, faster, and that I could operate like a restaurant. So the food truck, food trailer opportunity was like that there, and the food trailer was the cheapest way to start that. So I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I barely had any money from what I was able to save up through working and paying bills and debts at the time. So I searched all the time that I could for finding what type of food truck I could purchase, food trailer, anything that was out there. Now, most things I found were in the range of tens of thousands of dollars, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000. I had nowhere near that kind of money. And I remember it was weeks and weeks of searching, and I got to like the 40th page of Craigslist in the section of Pinellas Park, Florida, which is 2 hours from where I lived at the time. And I remember seeing an obscure page that was a very blurry picture of a food trailer, and it was set for about $10,000 the offer. Now, looked like a scam, but I had been through all the options I had at the time, so I just was like, what can I lose at this point? So I reached out to the person they asked me to meet up. And I was like, sure, I'll meet up with you in this obscure part of Florida that I've never been to before, but I went there alone and met the guy, and very fortunately, he happened to be a really nice stand-up guy who had other businesses that he was just wanted to divulge his food trailer to spend more time with his family. I was reeling, right? I was living nose above water at that time. My daughter was born, and she was very young, and so I had put her in a situation that I had never wanted to be in again, which is growing up and living in poverty. I mean, I was so down under that I could not afford diapers at the grocery store. It was a horrible situation. But through that adversity came the challenge that I needed to really discover what I felt like I really needed to do, right? Which was to do something that was true to me, true to my values, true to the brand of hospitality that I had been developing, which was soulful hospitality.